Hi everyone, welcome to the second episode of the Prince2 introduction series. In this video, let's look at some of the topics like what is Prince2, where we'll understand the Prince2 history. Let's also look at what is a project, what is project management, and let's look at some of the reasons why projects fail. The acronym PRINCE stands for Projects in Controlled Environment, and 2 is basically the version 2 of Prince. So what is Prince2? It's a method that is based on experience drawn from thousands of projects, and there have been contribution from many volunteer project stakeholders like project sponsors, project managers, project team members, consultants, and subject matter experts. Is it a new method? No, it's not a new method. The original version of Prince was meant for IT projects, scope expanded, and it was made generic, and now it can be used for any type of project. It was originally developed by CCTA. Currently, the intellectual property is shared with Axelos Limited. So that's the history of Prince2. Now let's look at what is a project. There are many definitions available for what a project is. A project is a purposeful undertaking to create a product, service, or a result. A project always has a definite start and end time. A project is usually taken up either to sustain a business or you want to enhance the growth opportunities in your business. Let's try and understand what a project is with some examples. Let's say there is a software company that specializes in testing services. There is a product for which they do system testing and it has about 1,000 test cases. The management feels that the time taken and the cost that is incurred for the manual testing have to be reduced. So they decide upon automating the execution of test cases. So they appoint a small committee. The responsibility of the committee is to look at what percentage of test cases can be automated. And after the study, they realize about 40% of the test cases, it's about 400 of the 1,000 test cases, can be automated, and that would result in better utilization of the skilled testers and also reduce the cost about 25%. And they also estimate the automation can take place in about 3 months. So this is how projects come into existence. Another example of a project is you want to extend your existing business online, or you want to migrate your database, let's say for example from a SQL Server to Oracle. It could be for business reasons or infrastructure reasons. Basically, the organization should believe that there is some tangible benefit or some intangible benefit that will help the organization in the long run. Or you may want to take up a Six Sigma project in order to reduce the number of defects on existing products. Another example of a project is constructing a building. Another real world example that I can think of what's happening in the industry is many organizations are now transforming to agile way of working. So I hope this explanation gives you a good understanding of what a project is. Let's move on. These are some of the examples of the project that I've mentioned. Let's move on and let's try and understand what the definition of a project is from Prince2 manual. A project is a temporary organization that's created for the purpose of delivering one or more business products according to the agreed business case. Project is a temporary organization which is basically a team that is engaged, and there is an objective that's given to the team, which is to deliver a product, and that has to be based on certain business case. So what is a business case? Business case is a study that will tell why the project is being done, the purpose of project, what is the investment that you need to make, and what's the return of investment that you will get. The next topic of what a project management method is. According to Prince2, project management deals with planning, delegation, monitoring, and controlling the project. Well, in other words, project management is all about administering the project. I think some of us may think that project management is all about sitting behind your desk, managing people, or even worse, you just buy a software and you'll be able to manage projects. It's definitely not the case. Project management is growing as a profession. It's considered as an art and a science. Why is it an art? You need certain soft skill, you need some certain interpersonal skills to manage people. And it's a science because there is a certain way of coming up with a schedule and coming up with risks and how you manage risks. So you as a project manager, you need to gather the requirements, you need to analyze the requirements with the help of experts, you need to define the scope and get the buy-in for the requirements from the stakeholders. You need to ensure the plan, budget, risks are all agreed upon, and ensure the activities that are being done are according to the agreed plan, and monitor the progress and take corrective or preventive actions required to bring the project back on track and meet the project objectives. So in a nutshell, project management deals with administering, planning, delegation, monitoring, controlling the project, and you also ensure, also need to make sure that you keep the motivation of those involved to achieve the project objectives within the expected performance targets of time, cost, quality, scope, benefits, and risks, which we'll learn in the further videos. So here are some examples of what will go wrong if the project is not managed properly. The deliverables that come out of project will be unusable. So let's now look at some of the reasons why projects fail. There was a study conducted by certain agencies. It was very alarming that only 33% of the projects succeed. So I think some of the reasons were taken, and there was a 80-20 analysis done on that, and some of the top reasons are, or projects fail because they're poorly managed or because there's lack of leadership. Imagine a project manager not knowing what the project is, and poorly defined roles and responsibilities. And when you have unrealistic time frames and you take some tasks that are probably not feasible to complete, As a project management, as a project manager, you need to ensure that you're very good at communication, and you need to keep communicating to all the stakeholders. And when there's a scope creep, let's say one of your customers or one of your senior executives tell you to add a certain feature in some product that you're developing, since they're from the upper management, you take the feature, and down the line you realize that the project will be delayed, or your project cost is going to be over budget. So scope creep is nothing but you take some unplanned activity without analyzing the impact of time, cost, risk, and quality. And of course, the worst of all is the stakeholder conflict. When stakeholders are not aligned, you're bound to fail in the project management.